What if your biggest fear isn't holding you back, but is actually trying to tell you something? We always see fear in a negative light, but what if it's actually positive? Since the birth of the human species, man has developed fears. Let's think about one of the first human beings, like Homo sapiens. They had to fear predators, hunger, storms, and survive in a wide and dangerous environment. It was a matter of life or death. Over time, fears have multiplied to such an extent that nowadays it is difficult to list them all. And not only that, they have also evolved, becoming anxieties. According to a study of the journal Psychiatry and Psychiatric Disorder, shows that fear as a reaction to actual physical dangers continue to exist. But now Homo sapiens also experience this more complex secondary emotion, which had adaptive value in the survival and expansion of the population. From a high percentage of external fears, we move to a high percentage of anxieties, bringing considerable imbalance in today's society, thus making it, over time, collapse. And you know what the craziest part is? We don't face it, we scroll it away. The worst method used to escape these fears is using the phone. Yeah, staying there for hours, hoping fear will pass. But as soon as you come back to real life, the fear comes back too. So I asked myself, what are the best ways to use this fear as fuel for growth? I did a lot of research and watched videos from top motivators and psychologists until I reached the conclusion that to use it, you have to follow these 4 steps. And in this video, I'll show you what they are. Let's begin. Have you ever noticed that the things that scares you the most are often the ones that attract you the most? Like speaking in front of someone, starting a project, getting into a relationship, because the moment you have the courage to do them, you know something changes. Fear is like a compass in the middle of the sea. It guides you toward change, but would you have the courage to follow it? If you try to change direction, most likely you'll get lost. Now let me give an example. Imagine a video game. The first level are easy, you get through them with no problem. But when you get the final level, the boss shows up, the hardest part of the game. You need focus, strategy, and you'll probably fail many times before beating it. But you know, if you manage to beat it, you unlock the win. The same concept applies to real life. Every time you don't back down, even if your voice shakes or your hands wet, you are going the right direction. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you just need to do it. The moment you are be able to accept fear, panic shows up. Everyone thinks panic, like fear, is a problem when you want to change, and most people freeze at the first sign. This behavior is super common, but at the same time, totally wrong. Panic is not the problem. The problem is thinking you shouldn't feel it. The question many people ask is, but how do I do it? Here's the bad news. Everyone feels panic. Some more, some less. It's natural behavior from our brain, and sadly no one can eliminate it. But you can definitely use it in your favor. Imagine being out to dinner with the girl of your dreams. Just thinking about it already gives you anxiety, right? But it's thanks to that anxiety that you are more focused and reactive. If you were too relaxed, you wouldn't even notice the basic signals she's trying to send you, and you would probably flop hard. The only way is to accept the panic as a part of the process. Okay, let's say I can immediately put into practice everything we have said so far. You find it hard to go in the right direction. So, if you can't accept fear and panic 100%, start with 5%. Once a week, try to put yourself in a panic situation. It doesn't have to be something extreme, just a small shock. Something that makes you feel slight discomfort, like telling a cashier in a store that she has nice nail polish, or send a 5-second voice message instead of a text. That's how you start training. You don't face fear all at once, but gradually, step by step. Like in the hill example, we can steer our boat until we are heading in the right direction. Don't ignore it. Try to understand what you're feeling. Breathe and focus on what you are experiencing, even for just 1 minute. Every day, write down one thing that scares you, big or small, and try to face it. In physics, fear can be described as a vector, a force with direction and intensity. If you align it with another vector in the same direction, it gets stronger. But if you combine it with a vector in the opposite direction, that force weakens or disappears. Now let's interpret that in real life. Imagine this, you've decided to change, to seriously embrace fear and panic. You leave the house, planning to go tell your friend, maybe you've even prepared what to say or do. Then you show up to that group of friends where the conversation is always about complaining, drama, and doing nothing. This situation kills your hope, makes you shut down. And even if you say something, you already know the answer. Those friends in this case are the opposite vector. They cancel out the fear. And without that push, you end up exactly where you didn't want to be anymore, in the comfort zone. Fear is not the problem. The problem is being surrounded by people and environments that influence fear negatively. If every time you try to do something new, someone laughs at you, if every time you share an idea, you get shut down with "come on," as if you could do it, of course you stay stuck. Even if deep down you want to move, the environment keeps you still. So the essential thing to make fear useful for growth are understand what fear is and what it's trying to tell you. Once understood and accepted, you also need to accept panic. If you can, try gradually. If you still feel stuck, then the negative influence is coming from the environment, people around you. If this video gave you a new perspective, leave a like and comment with the fear you want to face starting tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss other content like this. Share it with someone you know will need to hear this message. And if you haven't yet, check out my last video, What Finally Pulled Me Out of the Darkness. See you soon.